Concerned about your financial health? And reach out to David Smith with Edward Jones. 469-372-1587. That's 469-372-1587. He can conduct business where you are. Get your financial health checkup with David Smith with Edward Jones. His number one concern is you. That's David Smith with Edward Jones. 469-372-1587. Hey everybody, it's the Trout, and welcome to this episode of the Trout Show. Thanks for joining us. We're going to go back in time a little bit on this episode, where I go back and speak to a band that I interviewed right at about a year ago. 4 talented ladies, Jessica, Victoria, Jamie, and Nikki. They call themselves the Mothers of Mayhem. Now, I discovered them a year ago, and we talked about how the band was getting together and how they were getting more gigs around the Utah area. They're close to Salt Lake City. But now, a year later, they've done a successful video, award-winning video with the tune that they wrote, and they're bringing out new music, and the band is becoming more famous, and more fans want to hear about them. I really enjoyed talking to these ladies. 4 very talented ladies, but they're all housewives that have their own separate lives, but they make some great music together. So up next, the Mothers of Mayhem, talking about their new video, their new music, and how they're expanding their fan base beyond Utah. That's next on The Trout Show. Since I last spoke to you, you know what? I was going to look and see actually what month it was I talked to you. I forgot. Anyway, it's been a while. Let's put it that way. You guys you continue to grow, and it's funny because you still have a life. Yeah. I know you guys are busy all the time doing what mother stuff and business stuff and all that stuff. So it's got to be, you're feeding it in, that's a good thing. But I bet you guys now feel a lot better than you did a year ago about your quality of music, don't you? And you have gelled now as a group, right?
For sure. I feel like it.
Yeah, we feel like we have.
Mm-hmm.
And being able to find like our sound will be, that's been fun to land on something and we're like, oh yeah, that sounds like us. Like that's a fun feeling to create.
It takes a while to get used to each other. That's, being in a band is a community, as I tell people all the time. And the great thing about being in a band is if you're not in a band, you don't understand any of the inside jokes. You don't understand any of the stuff that's going on. And that's what makes it even better. Because you can say something and they just look at you. Everybody goes, what are they talking about? Oh, sorry, you're not in a band. You don't know what we're doing. I think what's really interesting to me too, ladies, is the fact that you continue. I mean, it's not easy doing what you do. I mean, I know how much fun it is, but it takes a lot of work. And it would be easy for you guys to we'll just go up there and play a few tunes, put our little poodle suits on and everybody go, look at those ladies. You'll whip out a quick, lead something or a drum solo and then walk off and go. Everybody goes, hey, that's great. But you guys have taken it to the next level, which takes time and effort. Now, let's see, how long is it again that you guys have been together now?
Just over 5.5 years. Is it 5?
So it's been a long time.
Yeah.
So your kids are all married now, children?
No, but we have one coming up in 2 weeks.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Cool.
Like, I hope my 8-year-old's not doing that yet.
No.
A little bit of time.
And then you know what? In about 20 years, you can have the Mothers of Mayhem 2, which would be all the kids. You know, or you have the grandkids.
They can
Baby
pick it up
baby-
and just call them. They can call themselves the Mayhem.
That's what I said, the baby Mayhems.
Yes.
Yeah, baby Mayhem.
Mayhem.
And I know when you and I, we all talked before, you were talking about Elijah Jones, but I didn't know you were going to take it to the level you did. And did you guys collectively write that tune, or did somebody come up with it so you wrote it collectively? Who came up with the original title?
So it was kind of a process. I was actually, and I remember distinctly, I was out on a run at a park waiting for one of my kids at dance. And I thought, well, I'll go on a run. And Jamie texts the group and she said, I have this great idea for a song. Because we're from Utah. And she'd been kind of interested in the idea of doing an old Western murder ballad like Big Iron or some kind of older song telling a story like that. And she said,
Right.
It's a story only we can tell because we're 4 moms from Utah. So what if we write our own murder ballad, so to speak? And it would be kind of funny. It's kind of these 4 wives that have this abusive husband or whatever. And as we kind of started writing the story out, because it is just a part of Utah's history, right? It is just a
Right.
historical fiction, but it is a big part of the
Yes, it is.
history here. So we kind of got together and we kind of wrote out the story and then kind of condensed it down into lyrics and, chords and all that. We went through a whole process. I don't know if one of you guys wants to weigh in on it. It took us a long time to actually come up with a name, but we went through this whole process of history from Utah and came up with this name. And it is a fictional character, but it's based on, it's set in a specific place near Bluff, Utah. We did a ton of research and historical research to make it as accurate of a historical fiction as we could as a group. And then we kind of just worked on it all together.
And then somebody said, let's go record it. And then somebody said, why don't we make a video? But let's not just stand out in the studio and sing it. No, let's go get cowboys and go out in the middle of nowhere and make it all cowboy themey. And
wear big poofy dresses in the sand and haul our gear to the middle of the desert. Yeah, we did say that.
And then
why did we say that? Why did we?
Well, I think the proof is in the pudding. You get an award for it.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get written up in the Salt Lake Tribune. Is it the Tribune?
Yeah.
That's why you did it.
Yeah.
It's true.
And it was fun. And we like to do things all the way. If we're going to do it, if we're going to put in the time and put in the effort and take that space, create a space in our lives for something, let's do it well and all the way.
So now you've been together this long, and then you did the video, and then you said, oh, hey, why don't we just put this thing up and see if we can win an award too?
We did. And we tried and we won. So hooray.
Was it all right? I have to ask this question. Did you guys prepare a speech, or did you just wing it?
No, we kind of just threw it out there. In fact, we didn't even get to go to the award ceremony because it's about 5 hours, 6 hours away. So where it was filmed is actually where our film crew and one of our producers live. And so they went and they attended for us. And apparently there was like a whole thing. They went and actually asked him about the production and the filming and the shooting. So our videographer and our drone operator, our prop assistant, I don't remember what exactly her title is, but she helped with everything. She was amazing. And then one of our editors, producers was there, and they kind of talked more about the actual production of it and the direction it took as we were filming. and the longest 30 hours and filming it in 2 days of everyone's life. But but yeah, we specifically weren't there. Kind of wish we would have, but we didn't know. They don't tell you you're gonna win ahead of time, and we weren't able to make it down. So
You should have had a surrogate like in India, like they did on the old Academy Awards.
yeah.
Accepting on behalf of the Mothers Mayhem is Little Elk from the. That would have fit right in with you guys just doing stuff.
Yeah.
Where were you? Well, we were over in France doing a special gig, but so then you go in. I mean, when you're watching that, look, I know. Did they storyboard it, or did you guys just they actually storyboarded it too? So there you had it. It was a real thing.
We storyboarded it. Actually, I mean, we spent
storyboarded it.
yeah. I was gonna say we had Zoom calls with our team. I mean, like twice a week for 2 or 3 months.
Oh wow.
It was.
Well, but here's the thing.
I have to tell you,
Yes.
can I jump in? I gotta just say, I hear all these great things about the video and all this stuff, but I'm gonna give you the reality here. Half of us were like really regretting the decision because of the amount of money that ended up kept going into it and the amount of time. And all of a sudden we realized if we want it right and we want to try to portray what we want to do, we're going to have to go storyboard this whole thing. And at some point, after like gig after gig and then also rehearsing and storyboarding, we were pretty sick of each other also. And I think we got to the point after we shot it, and I came home and my husband's like, "What'd you think?" And it was great. And I'm like, this is going to either make or break the band. And I don't know which one it's going to be. So I was really happy that we made it through and we're better for it. But it was a lot, and when you do those kinds of things and you put yourself out there, I think you also have to expect that it's going to take a lot of sacrifice and a lot from you.
Well, it didn't turn into your Yoko Ono.
No.
That's true.
You're still together.
We're still here and we're still close. It worked great. But it's, those kinds of things, that's just what it is, especially when you're trying to do something that's on the side, and it's not your full-time thing.
Well, and I'm sure you maybe did, but a lot of people don't know what storyboarding is. I have friends in, the business, right? It's like, what's that? And, but I think but it shows up in the pudding of what you guys did because it's very professionally done. Making those things, even though they're not very long, they take a lot of time. And it gets real boring real quick. And, you get kind of at least I did, when you're making stuff like that, you get a new appreciation for actors and actresses. Especially on series on TV. Well, you got to be here at 5.
Yeah, really
When's my scene shooting? At 4:00 this afternoon. Oh, okay. Well, that sounds smart. But at the end of the day, like I said, it ends up proving out that you had a great product. And that will live past. I mean, that goes on forever. And I'm sure you guys been able to use it to increase your visibility. I mean, I looked at a year ago when I talked to you, you were doing a handful of gigs just every once in a while. Now it's just, you still have a life. I understand that. But I'm looking at it and going, oh, look, you have tour dates.
Yeah. Well, and there's actually been a lot coming out that we haven't been able to accept because we are just getting too full to where it's like, well, I mean, it's nice to have a full schedule, but we can't take them all anymore either. So it's kind of been an interesting effect.
But the other thing too, if and I'm sure this is what you were doing, you do the gigs, you can use the money to pay for the next thing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why what do you want the money for? We
The
got to
next
shoot another
video.
Yep, the next video or the next studio or the
next recording. Yeah.
Next recording.
Yeah.
Are you guys working on a complete project? Are you going to do an album? I'm sure that's crossed your mind.
We're trying to get their song by song though, right? We're doing, I wish we could record more songs all at a time, but it does seem like we'll work on a song and and go into the studio and record it. We did just release a song. I missed the beginning, so I made
yeah, we haven't really talked about you that much. We were going to talk more about you, but we didn't have a chance to talk about you as much as we wanted to. They said you were really high. That's all they kept telling me, that you're really high, and I didn't understand that. And then they explained to me you were really high. And I said, that's what happens. You become famous rock stars.
I was hiking. I was very high, yes.
So, well, and now you're having what you should be doing all the time. You're having fun, but you're becoming more professional at what you do. And that's, to me, of course, I've always been wanting to be that way, but that's part of the gig. And then when you become so well known, then you're going to be somewhere else, and then people want to hear about you. I know we talked about this last year, but you guys were thinking about trying to get in South by Southwest. Would you still be interested in doing that? I know it's not cheap. I mean, it's not, you have to fly everybody down or drive, whatever you're going to do. So it's something you might still want to think about.
It is. I think one of the reasons we kind of put it on hold for this year was because as we kind of started looking at what our goals are, the direction for our band, it was like, well, one of the biggest things that's going to take us kind of from where we're at to the next level is going to be having more original music and content. And right now we feel like we're a little bit short on that. And I know it's because we do have such a busy life outside of the band. It's not our full-time job. And so it does take us a little bit longer to get some of our originals out. But we thought, let's kind of stay where we're at as far as performing and making that money to put into our recordings, original music, and start building that repertoire for things like ticketed venues or South by Southwest and those type of places where we want to be able to go and have, 75 to 90% all original music, and then a couple of things that we've remade or whatever. And so that's kind of been one of the things that we're focused on to try to get there.
Right. How far away do you all live from each other? Are you relatively 15 minutes away, 5 minutes away, 3 hours away? How does it work?
I think Jamie's the furthest, and she's about 12 to 15 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Right?
That far.
But only because we're in a rural little community. So it's like by the crow flying, we're all within like a 2-mile radius of each other. We're literally like the best neighborhood mom band.
But how far do you live from Salt Lake?
An hour.
45 minutes, hour, yeah.
An hour? Okay.
Yeah, a little under an hour.
I never asked you this before, but how did it all get started? Whose idea was it? How did you find out that each one of you had the ability to do certain things? When did that all kind of come into play?
It's a great time for Nikki to jump back on. That's kind of her story.
Well, we'll save it for her.
Nikki, are you there? Oh, there you go.
Hey, can you hear me? Sorry, I don't know what's been going on with our connection. Clearly, it's been a struggle. How did we get started? Is that what you asked?
Yep.
Yeah, I wanted to know when was the germ of the idea that got together and started driving it?
I had started learning to play the drums, and I had just realized that it's so much more fun to play with other people than just alone. And I had met Victoria at the park, pushing our kids on the swings, and learned that she played bass. But actually, I hadn't even started playing drums yet. I got the name of a teacher from her, and then after a bit I approached Jamie because I knew she was amazing, and I said, hey, do you have any interest? And she was like, no. I mean, not really, but she kind of. And she's like, well, let me think about it. And so then a few months later, she called me up, she's like, yeah, okay, I think I'm ready. It's like, great. And I had remembered meeting Victoria, and I said, I know somebody who owns a bass. Is that enough? And Jamie said, yep, that's enough. And then she asked me if I had any idea who could sing. And I said, I know a lot of people who sing, but I don't know anybody who like really sings. And then both she and Victoria said, oh, well, we do. So great. And then amazingly, Jessica said yes. We all said yes. And
Wait a
Now
minute,
we-
isn't it sounds
yeah,
like the name of
we
a
have a
song.
song.
Say yes, and that's the name of the song.
I was like, oh, that sounds like a song. And then we wrote a song. Yeah. So,
But did you realize that she was a screamer when she could sing?
no idea. No idea. It was so fun. It's been so fun to see everybody just really grow through this over, our time together. And it's been exciting.
And the one thing I tell people all the time, well, not all the time, but I do when I get an opportunity, especially at performers, is when you get up there, it doesn't matter the crowd size. You ladies already know this. When they start loving what you do, there is nothing better than that. And when they start loving what you perform as your own stuff, that's really when it kicks in. And that feeling you get when they love that, that's when you're like, oh, now I know why I do this. So now that you got the new tune out, are you going to cut another, I assume are you cutting another video for that tune, or is it already done?
We've talked about it. We've kicked it around. Actually, so Jamie was mentioning how it was like we all thought we wanted to do a video. We were actually down in Page, Arizona, hiking before a show. And she said, when we shoot a video for Elijah Jones, and this is before we wrote the song, she said, it'll be somewhere like this. And so she had the vision for the video before the song. And once the song was done, I was like, okay, so we're going to do this video. And it was like, yeah, we're going to do it. And then we all got on board and got it going. And then it was like, oh, crap, what are we doing? And everybody was kind of panicked because we realized we aren't actually actors. So we weren't sure we could pull it off. But then one of us, might have been me, was like, okay, well, we're going to do it anyways. And I really pushed for it to get it done. And I'm glad I did, because it was a growing experience for me and all of us. And so as much as it was a little bit scary, because new things are scary, after the video and after the break we took after that video was shot and recovered from all that, I think it was Nikki even said, you know what, actually I think I'm looking forward to doing another video for the next song. So Nikki, are we still going to be doing a video for the next song?
Nothing like putting her on the spot. And then Rick will send me the copy of you saying
I'm the pusher. See, no, just kidding.
We got to get the funds. Videos are expensive.
There you go. That's why you got
Yeah.
to play all the gigs. Yeah. But you need to make another video. That's where all of it's, and I understand. And then you got to figure out, look, my thought process is very simple. You need to get a complete album, whether it takes you 2 years to do it. And then you can say, is this it? Do we want to go any further? And then you can make that big decision on your own. But once
I
you
agree.
get,
I think one of the things we learned was so interesting for me, at least, was after we made the video for Les Jones, I had a lot of feedback on, oh gosh, that's a great song. And I was thinking, the song's been out for a year almost. But we're in such a visual age that a lot of people didn't have a clue. They didn't even realize, they didn't see the promotions for the actual release of the song, didn't pay attention to it at all until it was associated with video. So I do think it would be fun to do another one. Probably not maybe that same style or that extreme, but I do think it would be, I think it helps us get the word out maybe on our music when you have it associated or tied to that visual aspect.
well, you're inundated with music. There's so much of it out there now, as you all know. Well, I'm just really very happy for you all. It makes me happy to see you guys.
Pretty long.
Well, I think that you'll succeed. You'll keep going. And the problem that you have now is once you've been bit by the music bug, it's over. It ain't going away. And it'll be with you forever. And I tell, but that's what makes it kind of fun, is the fact that and I get to see a lot of independent artists that are just coming up, and I see them, and then I talk to them about 6 months later, you could see them getting better and better and better. But that's all they do. And when I see them succeed, just like you guys have done well, and you're doing what you want to do. And I think that's just a wonderful thing that you can continue to do that. And I just want to wish you all the success. Now, if you do get an Academy Award, I hope one of you can show up.
We'll send you.
Yeah, it depends on the football schedule and dance competitions. But
Accepting the award for Best Song of the Year at the Grammys this year is who? The Trout. I'd like to thank them for asking me to come up here, but I'm going to thank everybody that likes my music instead. Listen to my music. Don't listen to that's fine. All right, I do have last one question. How much more equipment have you bought? How many more guitars have you bought? I know you have more than the last time I talked to you.
Good question. Since last year, I'm trying to think.
I don't know when I bought my bass.
I've stayed steady. Is it Jessica and Victoria that have been buying things since then?
I think so.
yeah, I think I have
Nothing
two new
for me.
amps, and then now I'm up to 5 guitars. But the wardrobe is what I'm more focused on buying.
Yeah, that's the question you have to ask Greg is how many dresses Jessica bought since last year.
Yeah, well, and with dresses, you buy a dress, then you've got to buy new shoes, and it doesn't matter if I use 4 closets in my house. It's
Well, what's the husband need? He didn't need a closet. Come on.
no, he did. Exactly. Thank
Do
you.
you guys have basements up there? You do, don't you, or don't you?
Mhm.
Yeah,
we
put
do.
stuff down in the basement. He doesn't need anything else.
Time we're in the recording studio, I notice we find sounds that we like more, and then it's like, well, now I got to go buy a this so that we can get those sounds.
Well, and the other thing I've been focusing on is more women, and I've been interviewing more women now because it's just not as many people. There's more now than there used to be.
Mhm.
And what I really focus on is women bass players.
Mhm.
It's funny because, they don't, it's because seeing women up there playing bass, it's become more regular, but not for a long time. And it's, it's such a, it's still a male dominated world. But, you're not a shticked act, which I always said that you guys are really good at what you do. You're kind of like a mini Kiss without the makeup.
Oh, there's makeup.
Yeah, but we know who you are.
Yeah.
Once again, ladies, thank you very much.
Thank you, Rick.
Continued
It was great.
success. And I'll keep watching for you on the road to success.
Awesome.
Have
Thanks
a good
so
weekend.
much.
Thank you,
You
guys.
too.
Great to chat.
See ya. Bye-bye.
Bye.
He cheats, he drinks, he yells, he's mean, he beats, he lied. And then he died. And no one cried. And then he died. And we're alive. He came along, put the wool over her eyes, like he'd done before again, and now one last time. Elijah Jones. He worked them to the bone like he owned their lives. He didn't know her strength would come back to bite. Elijah Jones. He's bad, he cheats, he drinks, he yells, he's mean, he beats, he lied. And then he died. And no one cried. And then he died. And we're alive. with murder on his mind. Destruction of all in his path, there's no safe place to find. He grabs her arm, now neck and clutch, her fleeting breath reminds. He'll never stop, they've had enough, this is not the love that binds. There's one last hope, that fire inside she hid, it's all she's got. Pulls her courage from her pocket, and it's not a warning shot. And then he died, and no one cried. And then he died, and we're cosa faremo con il corpo?
Well, that's it for this episode of The Trout Show. Thank you so much for listening. We appreciate it very, very much. And a special thanks to the Mothers of Mayhem for sitting down and talking to me once again. For more information about the Mothers of Mayhem, you can visit them at themothersofmayhem.net. That's where you can find all their links to all their socials. Special shout out to David Smith of Edward Jones for continually supporting our channel. For more information on The Trout Show and to find out about all our YouTube videos, our podcasts, and our brand new podcast that just started, New Music Mondays, visit our website at thetroutshow.com. So until next time, people, remember what I always say. It's only rock and roll, but we love it. See ya.